Vaccine scientist, baker, author, dessert curator. My guest today says she imagined more for herself, and that drive to succeed led her to pack up for the United States with $900 in her pocket and no tuition, headed to college. How did she do it? Dr. Altreisha Foster tells her story. I'm Archibald Gordon. This is Profile. Dr. Altreisha Foster, welcome to Profile.
Thank you for having me.
So, vaccine scientist, baker, author, dessert curator. That's what your Instagram profile, that's how you describe yourself on
Yes,
Instagram.
absolutely.
But this is quite a record of accomplishment. So, a graduate of Campion College, the Queen's School as well, University of Technology, Howard University, George Washington University's Milken School of Public Health in the United States of America, with a doctorate. You have a career in public health that spanned parts of the United States and the Caribbean. You're published in several prestigious journals, including Nature.
Yep.
You own a premier baking and dessert making company, Sugar Spoon Desserts, in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. And you also run Cake Therapy, a foundation that is a nonprofit that provides girls baking and trauma-informed education to encourage them economic stability, you say, financial awareness, and therapy, and married with 2 children.
Yeah.
So you've been busy.
Very busy.
When you listen to all of these different kinds of things, what do you think?
I think it's not me often, because imposter syndrome is real, right? So when I hear that, I'm thinking it's somebody else. But yeah, it's all me.
So you live in Minnesota in the US.
Yeah.
Also lived in Washington, different areas as well. But born in Jamaica in Golden River.
Yeah.
I want to start there talking a little bit about that journey and how it's informed how you operate right now. So tell me a little bit about the community, very small rural community.
Yeah, absolutely. And within that, there was a small village called Pastor Ridge. That's where a generation of my family lived, you know, from my maternal side. I lived there until I was 8. I lived there with generations of my family, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, great-grandparents, in a very small house there. But though it was an impoverished community, I never felt that. I didn't know that I was poor. Because I was happy. My happiest memories were there. I enjoyed most of the things that I've enjoyed the most in my years was in pastorage, and I think it was in the early years between 1 and 8.
And part of it is because of that rich sort of history of family that you talk about, and in particular the people who helped to raise you.
Absolutely.
Your mom, you say, you call her one of your rocks, but certainly a rock. Why do you say that?
Because she shaped who I am, really. She saw me before she even saw me. She had dreams for me before she even gave birth to me. And once she did that, she instilled the vision, right? So she's also a visionary, because she envisioned all of this Altreisha before even I saw it. And she did everything that she could to really propel me forward to become who I am. So she is my rock, she's the visionary, and she's the gold.
How did she do that? You speak in your book, Cake Therapy, a little bit about the woman that she is.
Yeah.
And you use one particular recipe to describe her. In fact, the book is a lot about that. It's an infusion of different kinds of recipes. And we'll get to that fascinating story about baking, which you came to much later in life, but it infuses these recipes with stories of particular people. And your mother's recipe is?
The potato pudding.
Is potato pudding.
Yeah.
Why?
Soft, sweet, precious, delectable, everything that Jamaicans love. And I think once they got to meet my mom in the book, that they would love her just as much as they love the potato pudding. And
a tough cookie, your mother. Been through a lot.
Been through a lot. And also whatever she got, she gave up for my brother and I, right? So even through her tough experiences and the challenges that she faced, she never gave up on the hope and the potential of what we could be. So that was her life. We became her life and her livelihood.
She had several different jobs, did absolutely anything that was necessary in order to push you as well as your siblings ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom, she did everything, like you said, she did everything that she could. She was household helper. She was a seamstress. She was a practical nurse. She was even a pre-trained teacher until, the government decided that they want certified teachers in the classroom, so she had to pack up and go. But whatever that my mom could have done to ensure that I had even one meal in a day, she did, because she wanted to make sure that there was sustenance, some amount of sustenance for me and my brother. But then she wanted to show us that if you work hard, you can be fed. But then she wanted us to work hard to have a better life than she did at the time.
And she was working hard herself.
Yeah.
She was also saying this to you.
Absolutely.
What was she saying to encourage you, particularly in doing well in school?
Yeah. So my mother always visioned a life for me. I could go to school with the Prime Minister's kids. She spoke of a story. She was at church in Golden River, and she was telling someone that my kids can go to the school with the Prime Minister, and that person told her that she was crazy. But she herself believed it. And as she was working in her position as a household helper out in Manor Park, she took me to see those things. She brought me to see that life. Even though she was cleaning someone's home, she wanted me to see the potential of that home, or that I could be in that home and in that space. And she told me I was good. She told me I was great. I believed it. And that's what has brought me here.
You're getting a lot of encouragement at the same time from your grandparents and other members of the immediate family.
Yeah, because I think they too saw the potential. I was an early reader. I spoke early. And I think before I grew a shell that we probably get to, I was very outgoing. I was more of an extrovert as opposed to the introvert that I became later in life.
I want to talk a little bit about as well your father.
Yeah.
You talk about him in the book, and it's a little bit of a rough history between you as well as his mother.
Yeah.
As well as your mother, rather. Why? What happened there?
Nothing happened. He got my mother pregnant and he left. When she gave birth to me, he came back. He gave her $2. And then he left again. And he left for good. And he never sought me out. My mom found him when I was like 19, going into a bank. And that was that. Like, I was already, older. I was already me. I was already Altreisha. I was exposed to a myriad of things. So having found him then didn't mean much to me because I was already formed. So the impact that he could have had on my life, I think we kind of missed that window. So we never really formed a relationship at all. I think I remember once him telling me that he loved me, and I found it a little bit odd. So he's just someone who fathered me. He was not a dad or a father figure to me.
At the same time, you say he had a sort of impact in terms of pushing in another direction, or in another way, rather. But we'll need to go to the break now, and we'll get to that right after the break. So we take a break now. On Profile, my guest is scientist, baker, author, dessert curator, Dr. Altreisha Foster. We'll be back.